first and foremost, I'm sorry I didn't put a weekly video out last week. I've been doing so good of making sure I get at least one video out, but sometimes it falls through the cracks. So, I'm sorry. It's just, there's been a lot going on, a lot I've been thinking about, and, I mean, general just not being a just very so-so week. But yeah, so, kind of the topic of today's video is like, just kind of like a check-in, just kind of a ramble about thoughts I've been having, and just some general channel stuff. But yeah, so, I guess we'll just jump into the meat of the matter, and just kind of, I'm in an interesting spot when it comes to magic. And this channel, well, I very much maintain that this is not a magic channel. It is a generic channel that is just kind of a my interest channel, and magic is a big part of that. And the channel is very much tied up with my thoughts of magic, and lately, and specifically for like the last month or so, I've been feeling like, I mean, actually it's been more of a long-term coming, but more and more I've been feeling detached from magic, where I've pretty much stopped going to paper events like months, over a year ago, just because it's just like, in the last 6 months I've gone to 2 magic events in paper that were like at a game store, and that was the two pre-releases, and I haven't gone to anything really since then. Wait, I did do the Brawl weekend, but that was more with a friend than me wanting to go to a magic event. It was just like, hey, my friend wanted to hang out and wanted to go to that, and we went to that. So it's most of my interaction of magic is either through this channel or with like the people on the Discord and the brunch group I have that I go and play Commander and stuff. But just generally, it's just, I just haven't been playing as much, where it's just been kind of more distant to me. It's just been like, and part of that isn't just purely magic, it's partially just where I live right now isn't close to any game store, so it's not like a short walk over to my local game store like it used to be when I lived near Phoenix. Phoenix Comics and Games, not Phoenix, Arizona. Which is a great place. If you're in the Seattle area, check them out. They're fantastic. It's where I learned how to play and stuff like that, and they're really cool. And it's really friendly and opening and welcoming, and yeah. And they're so big now. Ooh. So just generally, I haven't been playing that much, and really kind of the thing that set this off has been, like, I mean, I know I'm late to the party talking about this, but was really, as a whole, it was the decline of the Vorthos side of magic, but really Forsaken. For those who are not aware, the second magic novel dropped, and the sequel to the second War of the Spark novel dropped, and it was a flaming pile of garbage. And also, I would like to go forward, generally it's like, I try to keep this channel, and honestly myself, to be kind of very, very positive. I try to look on the bright side of things, and this is not going to be one of those videos where it is going to be where, you know what, even if people committed to optimism and positivity, sometimes things are just terrible. And the fact that it was a bad book, I could overlook. Magic's has had plenty of bad books. I've slogged through Agents of Artifice. It's not good. But the big thing in it was essentially erasing, essentially Chandra's bisexuality, and more importantly to me, the, like, women loving women rep, where I'm a lesbian, like, I'm not bi, so I don't, like, the bi erasure isn't that big of a deal for me. Like, I mean, it's a big deal for me, but it's, like, personal to me. But just the fact that it's like, okay, I mean, lesbian rep, getting to how the fact there's, like, no lesbian rep in media at all. I mean, but, like, yeah, like, the extent of, like, lesbian representation is just, like, oh, there's a few shows of good lesbian representation, and otherwise they're a side character, or the bisexual main's like ex-love interest, or some other thing. And that isn't to say that bisexual people don't have also just awful rep. It's pretty bad across the board if you're not a gay man. Yeah, it's just like one of those things where we lost that, like, WLW, that does not work as a contraction that well, when spoken aloud, representation. And not only that, just like completely doing it. And as someone who came into the game and who really got into the lore, like, I started during the Gatewatch, really like that, the whole build-up of the Chandra and Nissa relationship was one of the things that really got me into the gaming lore and invested in it. And there's really no way to describe it. That is textbook queerbaiting. And yeah, you know what, like, there is a world where, yeah, you could write a story where, yeah, like, okay, maybe they don't end up together and that's okay, but not when you've set this up as being this is the only like, queer relationship in the entire forefront of the game. All the other ones were just like backdrop, like, oh yeah, Ovia Bashiri's had a wife way back in the day, but she's dead now and you won't see that in the cards or the story, only when we talk about it later. And honestly, that was just really devastating to me. And it's like, I have a Chandra cosplay almost done. I was going to wear it at GP Portland, and I don't want to finish it now. Like, part of it's like, if I'm like good at cosplayer, that's a tacit endorsement of what WotC is doing with this character, and it sucks. And it sucks because it's just like, I know so many of the people at Wizards do care about these things, and these are very clearly, for the most part, corporate decisions, most likely. That said, there are some interesting people in the store department of Wizards of Magic right now, but I'm not going to get into that. But just, and then on top of that, just the general disincentivizing of those story side of Magic just really pulls me out of it, because I need that lore connection. Like, at the core of my things, it's like, I love reading, I love stories, and Magic is having that less and less, and it's pulling me out of the immersion. Like, that's super, like, I kept meaning to do a video, like, on how just I thought that Eldraine was a complete disaster on every front except the art. But it's just like the fact that, like, yeah, Eldraine had a great story with a book that wasn't about the set that it was supposed to be based on. And just all this other stuff where I've just been feeling so disconnected from the game when it comes down to it, where it's the things that I care about most just aren't there. And that isn't to say that there's still things I like. Like, I still love playing, like, Commander with my friends and doing all this other stuff. And that's great, but if it keeps on the path it does, I don't know if I'll be really invested as much as I will, where will I keep an eye on things that are happening? Yeah. But, like, am I going to be as invested? Am I going to be making as much Magic content as I have? Probably not, honestly. Just because it's like, honestly, if I didn't have this channel where I talked about this constantly, I would probably be gone, where I just, like, wouldn't even have those things that were, like, holding me onto the game. Where it's just, I'm concerned. I'm really concerned about it. Yeah, I know, like, for someone who really cares about the story, like, I know I'm a minority when it comes to the community. Most of the community doesn't really care about the story, and that's fair. Everyone's entitled to their own way they prefer to, like, enjoy the game. But it's huge. It's essentially the thing that drew me to Magic over almost any other card game that exists. Like, and it's just the depth and breadth of lore and so much thing, and, like, lots to, like, learn about and things like that, where they just don't get with other card games. and it adds that depth of the actual like interactions of like the actual game itself. And we're losing that, and it's really rough for me, and I'm having trouble coming to terms with the fact that it isn't what I kind of signed up for. Where I came into the game and like really got to it like the height of the Magic story writing, what is generally considered to be the best that it is, and it's slipping away from that. And what it's slipping away to isn't something I'm quite frankly interested in. Like, on top of this channel, like, but just like it's kind of the what is it? What's the word? It's the fallacy for being like, oh, I'm already invested in this, so I need to keep going. Oh, what's the word for that? I'll remember it later. Probably like at 3 a.m. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm already like kind of invested. Like, have I spent a ton of my money on Magic? No. Have I spent a fair amount? I mean, yeah. Like not small change. Like, it's been a hobby for a number of years. Like, but at the same time, it's also the kind of the point where it's like, do I regret it? No. Like, I've gotten an enjoyment. I think I've gotten my money's worth of what I've spent on it. But it's not like I is Magic a huge part of my life? And like, yeah, it is. It's one of my main hobbies for a while now. But is it going, like, is it irreplaceable? Not in the slightest. And also just to say that this isn't to say that I'm not going to be making Magic content anymore. Ooh. But it is just saying that it's like, this is just something you should be aware of going forward, where it's like, I probably will be making significantly less and kind of becoming a bit more distant from the game, assuming changes don't happen. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, right now, I'm not even going to GP Portland this weekend, where it's nearby. I have a place to stay. I could like carpool with a friend, but I'm just not feeling it. I'd love to see people, but it's just like, okay, good play Commander, but wait, we know, of course, Commander is now, if you want an actual like space in the main hall, it is now behind a paywall, so that's cool. And I could just hang out with cosplay people, but I feel really awkward because I'm not cosplaying, because it's like, I feel really bad about the whole like Magic, like the whole like Vorthos situation. I'm just like, I don't want to go out there cosplaying Chandra. It's like, they've done nothing to deserve like that, the kind of the because it's like they sure do love getting that the I mean, like, I'm not a big cosplayer by any means, but like they do benefit from like as publicity thing and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just, but because I'm not cosplaying, I feel weird hanging around the cosplayers, because even though a lot of them are my friends, it's bad imposter syndrome. I mean, I have bad imposter syndrome even if I am cosplaying, but it's worse when I'm not. So, I don't know, it's just, I'm not at that. Also, it's just like a lot of effort, and I'm not in a good mental space too. It's also the week before Christmas, which is really awkward, and I'd like to spend some time with my family. But yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much about all the rambles I have. I guess, okay, back to the cosplay point actually real quick. Or so another thing that was just like, I've been having trouble with is just, even when like I liked the lore, like I love sewing, I love costuming, but Magic never really grabbed me in that way, where there's very few like things I've seen being like, I want to make that, or the ones that I have been like, oh, I like that outfit in the background of a card that's a piece of draft chaff that no one will recognize. And this goes back to like most of the community being really bad and not caring about the Vorthos side of things, where it's, the community cannot recognize cosplays unless they're like a Gatewatch member, like whatsoever. It is awful. Like my Liliana, like Critical Healer, has a less than 50% recognition rate. Like, granted, it is a different version of her that you're not used to, but that is one of the Gatewatch, one of the main characters of the game, less than 50%, with honestly some hilarious guesses. It's like, I'm there with like the Benelish like healer robes, and just like, oh yeah, you're Nahiri, right? Yep, Nahiri, known for her black hair and long robes and all that other stuff. And just it was just kind of disheartening, where it's like, yeah, I could make what I want, but if you're gonna get any traction from it, who cares? Like, you better do something main. And there's also a little bit of bitterness where it's like, I have made one main cosplay for Magic and several of like cosplays, but those have had more of an impact of like growing my presence within like the Magic community itself than this entire channel. And guess what I put more effort into? It's this channel. And it's just like, I'm not upset about that, like truly upset, but it is kind of just a bad taste, where it's just like one of these things where it's like, yeah, this thing that I did once that still is paying off, and people like list me into groups of like cosplayers, because at the end of the day, I'm not a Magic cosplayer. I am just like a YouTuber who sometimes will do a Magic cosplay. I'm not really a cosplayer, but that's what I'm kind of known as, and I don't know, that's kind of disheartening for me. And also just one of those things, like when it comes to cosplay itself, it's just, there's this point with me where it's I could spend like a week making this cosplay, doing all the sewing, spending my money on materials and planning all that to make this thing all go to like wear to 1 or 2 events, or I could make myself actual clothes that I can wear every day. Okay, not every day, but like on a regular basis, where it's not weird like to be, it's like most Magic cosplayers, they're not good for everyday wear, where it's like the pieces of them are completely non-transferable. And also just another side note, it's like, I'm just like not a fan, like so much of Magic tries to be very like, let's try to be cool and fantastical and like our costuming, and not really thinking about what actually functions as clothing, where it doesn't look like, it isn't really based in anything historical or something like that. And like the history of costuming and clothing and stuff is something I adore, and you just don't get that in Magic. Yeah, and just like, I don't know, I mean, I'm rambling about this now, but it's just like, I've honestly been dissatisfied with like Magic cosplay for a while, but because I've been labeled as like one of those cosplay crew, I've almost felt obliged to do it, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, it's just kind of like being like, no, this isn't something I'm doing, this isn't what I am. Like, will I do a Magic cosplay in the future? I mean, maybe, like, if I'm still really invested in the game and there is a cosplay that actually speaks to me. That's one thing where it's like, I'm very much a pure sewing person, and so much, almost like a good like 75% of things are sewing based, or absolutely cannot be done sewing based, and requires like doing like foam construction for armor or things like that. And it's just like, I'm not interested in that. Where it's like, could I learn it? Yeah, but it doesn't really help my main interest of making functional clothing. And it isn't really something you see when it comes to like doing costuming for other things like theater and things like that, where it's very much a aesthetic that is just like, yes, this is for cosplay, and not to like disparage one or the other, but it's pretty much only usable for cosplay, and I'm someone who just doesn't go to enough events to justify having lots of cosplays. But yeah. So, kind of just like leading this into more general, where it's, because then it begs a very big question of the channel itself, where it's, where do I go from here? Like, if I take a big step away from Magic, where it's like, I mean, I've said this constantly, where it's like, I'm going to be pull back on the Magic content, I'm going to pull back on the Magic content, and then I end up making a ton more Magic content, because, I'll be honest, Magic content is very easy to do. Just because there's a lot to talk about, it's easy to get into work into the minutia and things like that. But yeah, we're pulling back and figuring out, like, getting like a better feel for what I want to do, because I have a vague vision of what I want the channel to be, and that is this very kind of eclectic group of things, and like things that like interests and discussions, where it's not just purely, yes, I'm going to be talking about a game, because I mean, I've seen it with enough content creators that are like struggling with this, where it's, I do not want my brand to be like married to a game or a specific game or even a specific genre, because there's a lot of like YouTubers and other content creators who've like really done that, and then like that thing drops in popularity or they get tired of it and they're kind of stuck with it. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, it's just like, I want the channel to be me. And I mean, there is a little bit of concern there too, just because like, it is true that the channel does not get views like it used to be. Like, growth has slowed tremendously in terms of like subs, and views are extremely low. And honestly, part of that is, I think, like ASMR, the craze of ASMR has begun to wane. I mean, it's begun to wane for a while now. But yeah, there's like a few of like the big stars like going real strong, and great for them and all that. But kind of the burst of like people like small ASMR creators and stuff like that, it's kind of on the downtrend where it isn't quite what it used to be. Which I mean, it can have a variety of things, and that's not the only factor, and there's a lot of things that go into it. But it is worrying, kind of like branching on and trying out new things, or moving too far away from what my established base is, because it's like my established base is already kind of, I'm not gonna say like lessened, but it has been lessened, where it is not what it used to be, and that's okay. Like, at the end of the day, people still watch my stuff, people still comment, and I really love all of you, and you're a fantastic community. But there's just, in the back of my head, there is that concern, and some part of me like was just like, I would make content that reaches people, even if I don't really care at the numbers at the end of the day, and I just want to make content that I want to do. But I just gotta figure that out. So yeah, now what else? Yeah, that's pretty much about all my thoughts. Probably not going to be releasing this video, but towards the end of the month, I will be releasing a video for, that'll be announcing the end of 2019 channel survey, because I'd like to do these about every 12 months or so. And this one might actually look significantly different than past ones, because it is going to be very exploratory. And kind of like, not so much asking about like what content does the channel already create that you're interested in, because I mean, I'm gonna put that out anyway, but very much also just kind of exploratory, where it's like, here are a bunch of things that I haven't done before or have only done once or twice. Are you interested in these? And kind of going from there. So yeah, I don't know what else to say really. So just kind of like a rambly update video. Again, I'm so sorry for not posting anything last week. It was just hectic, and you know, sometimes even if you have a goal, you don't always make it, and that's okay. The important thing is to pick back up and start back on it. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Let me know what you think, if you have any thoughts or comments on anything I've talked about, but yeah, I hope you have a wonderful night, and I hope you have wonderful dreams, and as always, may your stories smile upon you.